Hello, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. It's February the 27th, and the last bits of our last sleet and snow are melting away, and this could be our last one of the season. It may not be also, but it could be. The little green stuff will be really taking over if the weather goes ahead and stays warm for very long. This is shining pretty in the sun this morning, but this is coming down. All of this has got to be cleared out, and I don't know if I'll get to that today because I am still trying to scan or look at older pictures so that I can line them out to do some movies for some of my family, and I want to get that done as much as I can because once I get started in the garden, if you garden, you know it's pretty hot and heavy until frost comes. Once you get going, you put that first little plant in, and then first you got to clean all this mess out. But once you do that, and then you put that first little new plant in, and you have to start watering it once you get it in there. Keep it going till it gets a good start, and then you have to start planting all of your plants and your seeds and just everything that you want to do, change anything or divide and move things around, and there's just so much to do. And then of course the heat comes on, and once the heat is on, you're definitely going to have to be out here every day watering. So it's a giant chore. But with God's help, we're going to get started again. I actually have a good portion of the debris in the front cleared away. Of course, we don't have the pampas grass down yet. I like to leave them through the winter and see the snow on them and just the different effects that it brings to the garden. But I did not get the pots. The pots still all have to be cleaned out, so that will be a chore too, which I'm not even going to think about doing today, but it won't be long before I will start thinking about it. And I'm hoping that I get some stuff to come back, and you can tell so far that I am. This is that pretty little sedum that comes back, and I love it. There's occasionally it won't come back. Last year I had to redo it. I believe it was last year because we had that really long late frost or freeze. Actually it was a freeze, but most of the time it does come back for me, so I'm hoping it will. This is actually primrose, and I don't know if it will, but it looks like it may. Just hopefully I'll be able to clean that out and it will come back for me. So many things are just blown over because of the rough winds that we've had, and I've got to clean all this mess up. It looks so bad right now, but hopefully one day soon, or maybe not too soon, but one day it will be pretty and starting over new again. So many of my plastic bags just blew away. This one didn't blow totally away, and it's still giving some protection to this little pot, which looks like there's nothing there, but I think I can show you right here. This one has got one that's alive, and so much of this will actually pick up and come back to life when I start watering, and when God starts watering, when we get rain and just sunshine and the things that it needs, and the warmth. When the weather gets nicer, it will absolutely pick up and go. At least it has been doing. I'm certainly hoping it does it again, and I believe it will. But I am feeling a little bit more like getting out here, the warm weather. But of course, and it is warm and pretty today. Today is March the 3rd? the 2nd or the 3rd. I'll have to look and see. But anyway, it's the beginning of March, and we have a beautiful day right now, but we've had cold weather, and we're supposed to get cool weather or cold weather coming in again. But hopefully this time it's going to bring some rain, and I'm definitely hoping that we do get that rain. This little like evergreen plant here is candy tuft, and I just love it. I would love to have it all over the border, but I'm having a hard time getting it to continue all the way around it, but someday. That's in the hopes and plans. But so much to do, but hopefully I am feeling a little bit more like doing it. I was dreading it entirely and feeling like I couldn't get anything done that I wanted to do, but since I did get so much of the scanning done, which is not done by any means, but just enough of it is done that I'm believing that I can finish it now, and that's a wonderful feeling. And it also feels like I've done something else besides gardening, which I was ready to let it go for a while, but I think I'll be ready to pick it back up again and start cleaning all this old dead debris out so that brand new stuff can start showing up. And we had so many short but deep freezes, and then thaws and pretty weather, and then back to freezing again, that even my little pansies did not make it. They usually just keep right on going and are there to welcome me in the spring, have something already going. But I don't think that's going to happen this time. I don't see any of not only the pansies, but also the little cabbages, the little decorative cabbages that I put in, don't seem to be around anymore. Actually, here is one of them right here, and it actually could pick up and go again when the weather is nice and I start watering. That's one other reason that things didn't do well. I didn't water in the winter time. It's just too much to get the hoses out and then put them away for winter. I just left them, and we did not get rains through the winter like we normally do, so a lot of the stuff that normally comes back did not this year, but we'll see if we have any sightings of them later on, and I'm guessing probably not. But you can see that these are of course perennial things that are supposed to come back, and this one is coming back. This is like a miniature sedum, very pretty. I love these for the smaller pots. This is also a sedum, but I don't see usually. Oh yes, I do. I'm okay now. I do see that it is coming back, so that makes me feel better. And these are the little pinks, or dianthus, and they're doing pretty well too. These are evergreen also, and I think they'll look well and do well here around this little picnic table because they don't get very tall. The little flowers do come up on probably about a 10-inch a small wafty like stem that just moves around in the breeze, and they actually smell nice, so I think that will be great to sit out here and be able to have that scent floating up to you while you're sitting here and maybe having a cup of coffee in the morning. And I have sedums in these little pots, and look, even this tiny of a pot, it is trying to come back, and I believe it will make a full comeback. Of course, that's a seed from a redbud tree there. But these are all trying to come back, so they just need a little water and a little encouragement. And that's what I'm hoping to put in in these little pots this year, and I could just use the sedum that I have. Let's see, I'm trying to see if there's anything coming out from this is a sedum that I put in last year, and I'm hoping that it comes back, but I don't know if it's had enough water and care to come back, but I still am hoping it will. If it doesn't, I'll put some more in there and see how long they will last. But I'm also thinking about getting some new sedums. There's so many pretty ones that I would like to try. Let's see if there's something coming back right here. I think this is a sedum too. I don't know if you can tell right down at the bottom of it right there is some green. So hopefully we'll have some of this come back in this pot. I would love for them all to just come back. And as I mentioned, I would love to get some of the other sedums. I've been looking at one called Full to Glow, and I think one called Atlantis, that have some really pretty color to them. So I'm hoping to maybe purchase some of those to put in here and try some of those for the hanging pots, because as beautiful as the coleus and different things are, the petunias, oh, the wonderful calabachoas, but they just don't last in these pots. They're pretty for a little while and they're gone. So I will probably not put them in very many. I will have to have some calabachoa, just at least 1, 2, maybe 3. But I just love them so much. But I want something in these pots that will last, so I don't have to be changing them out all season long. And our rough winds have definitely taken down so much of the little artwork or decor for the garden, and I've got to get practically everything refixed and put back up where it can shine in the upcoming garden season. I'll be taking this clematis down and starting over, and it will have plenty of time to get this big again. Most likely it has been. I have to cut it back actually. There's another little pot that's blown over, and I saw just while I was walking down there, here's an item that's blown off, but here's the little front part of that birdhouse, and then here's another one that's laying down. The stuff is just everywhere. I've got to clear up, and it will take time. I'm not rushing to do it because there's no point in it. It's just going to take so much time to get it all cleared out and taken care of. But little by little, it usually comes together. So hopefully it will again. It keeps me so busy, and sometimes it's too busy and I just get too tired. But it's a good busy too. It's something that helps me to be creative. It's something that helps me to share a testimony and just to be a part of what God's doing out in the nature and the things that He made that only He can make. In this little pot, it seems like there's nothing there, but there's a lot there, because all these little tufty things right here are seed, or where seed have been and have dropped down, and when they get water and sunshine and just be out here for very long, they'll start putting up tiny little plants that will go ahead and grow, and this will be full of rose moss again. I really want to find some more cattails for this little water garden. They died out last year, and so I'd like to replace them and then get some more little garden plants in here too. I don't know if I have any that actually lived. I put a few back in from other places, but I don't know if they made it or not. It certainly doesn't look like it now, but as spring gets going, more things will begin to poke their little heads up and start over again. But if they don't, I do want to put a few items in this as well as the cattails. And this little side of the fence as well as this side of the path, will soon be in glorious color, because this side is iris, and they're all up this side, and hopefully they'll be looking great. They have more sun now because my husband trimmed these trees back from them, and I'm hoping that this year we'll have a beautiful display. And then on this side we'll have daylilies and peonies. I'm going to take a look here and see if any of the peonies are turning or coming up through there, and they are. Can you see that tiny little one right there? You can see that little dot of pink or red. That's their new color when they start coming up. That's the color that they are, and then they turn green, and then they put on those huge, beautiful tops that I just love. And this, of course, is a grapevine. I'll need to trim that back, and hopefully we'll have some grapes. I'll trim all this old dead stuff off from the daylilies too, and they'll put up brand new little shoots. And it's just hard to believe how it looks now, that so much color and beauty can be there, just lying beneath the surface. All that beauty is there. And I'm not seeing any right now coming up here, but I just assume that they probably will be very soon. I'm hoping they will, that's for sure. And this will turn glorious with all the big, huge peonies. And then when they stop flowering, then the daylilies will come on and be flowering. And this, of course, is a clematis vine, which is a beautiful flower in the early spring and even early summer. Some of them bloom. So I'll need to trim them back. I like to trim those back early because they are some of the earlier plants to bloom. In this little pot I had put a sedum in there, and sometimes these will go ahead and root. I don't know if these did. I don't see any coming up around them, and they'll usually put up those little green buds if they have made it. So they may not, but then they feel kind of strong. They don't feel like they're just going to pull right out. So I'm going to still hope that those may go ahead and grow again for me this season. I was just noticing the roses, that there are some green beginning on those. So it won't be long. They'll be all full of new green growth, and then they'll be full of beautiful blooms. So I got that little job done. It's all cleaned out. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.